Picture this. The cameras cut to Baltimore's M&T Bank Stadium, where purple and black flags are waving and fans are roaring in celebration. Fireworks are going off, former Ravens legends are taking the field, and the scoreboard flashes 30 years of excellence. But for one city, this isn't a celebration, it's an insult. 30 years ago, Cleveland's football heart was ripped out when Art Modell packed up the Browns and moved them to Baltimore. And now, as fate would have it, the Ravens are throwing a party to commemorate that move, with Cleveland as the opponent. It's like being invited to watch your ex get married to the person they left you for. Emotions in Cleveland are running red hot. Fans are calling into radio shows, venting on Twitter, and even revisiting old wounds about why Art Modell still isn't in the Hall of Fame. Some see Baltimore's timing as deliberate, a calculated jab designed to twist the knife. This isn't just a regular season game anymore, it's personal. The stakes are higher, the energy more volatile, and the city of Cleveland is demanding a response. Enter Shedeur Sanders. While Baltimore is focused on its nostalgia trip, Cleveland's rookie quarterback has been quietly perfecting his craft. Reports from camp say he's been throwing absolute lasers, including a highlight reel strike to gauge Larvidane that had teammates buzzing. Sanders may be new to the NFL, but he isn't new to pressure. He's the son of Deion Sanders, raised with championship expectations and built for moments exactly like this. For him, this game isn't about living in the past. It's about proving that Cleveland's future is in good hands. That's what makes this matchup so fascinating, the collision of history and destiny. On one sideline, Baltimore is honoring the past, showing off its Super Bowl trophies and Hall of Fame players, reminding everyone that the decision to move the Browns led to 2 Lombardi trophies. On the other sideline, Cleveland is trying to shake off decades of pain, frustration, and what-ifs, hoping that their next franchise quarterback is the one who will finally flip the script. And if you think the emotions are limited to fans, think again. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has been visibly fired up in press conferences. He's downplaying it publicly, but sources close to the team say he's using this celebration as bulletin board material to motivate the locker room. The message is simple. They're celebrating your pain, go ruin their party. This isn't just football anymore. This is theater. This is revenge. This is history meeting the present on one field under one set of lights. And at the center of it all is a 22-year-old quarterback with the weight of a city on his shoulders. The only question now is whether Shedeur Sanders will rise to the occasion or let Baltimore have the last laugh. To really understand why Cleveland fans are seething over Baltimore's 30-year celebration, you have to go back to 1995, the year everything changed. At that time, the Cleveland Browns weren't just a football team. They were a civic institution, a piece of the city's identity. Generations of fans grew up in the dog pound, braving freezing temperatures on Lake Erie to watch their Browns battle bitter rivals. The team had history, tradition, and one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. But behind the scenes, all was not well. Team owner Art Modell was facing major financial issues. Cleveland Stadium was outdated, attendance was declining, and Modell claimed he was losing money. He asked the city for renovations and financial help, but negotiations stalled. Then, in one of the most infamous moves in sports history, Modell struck a deal with the city of Baltimore, a city that had been desperately trying to bring the NFL back ever since the Colts packed up and moved to Indianapolis in 1984. On November 6, 1995, Modell shocked the football world by announcing that he was relocating the Browns to Baltimore. The move sent shockwaves through Cleveland and the NFL at large. Fans protested, politicians got involved, and lawsuits were filed. It was chaos. To Clevelanders, it felt like betrayal of the highest order, their team, their colors, their history ripped away overnight. The NFL stepped in and brokered an unprecedented compromise. Cleveland would get to keep the Browns' name, colors, and history, and the league promised the city an expansion team by 1999. The new Browns would pick up where the old Browns left off, at least on paper. But let's be real, that didn't ease the pain. When the 1996 season kicked off, Cleveland had no team to cheer for, while Baltimore had a shiny new franchise, the Ravens, and eventually 2 Super Bowl titles. And then there's the Hall of Fame drama. To this day, Art Modell has been repeatedly nominated but has never made it into Canton. Many believe the relocation is the reason why. Cleveland fans, including media voices who are Hall of Fame voters, have worked tirelessly to block his induction. To them, Modell isn't a visionary. He's the man who broke their hearts and left a wound that's never fully healed. This is the baggage that Cleveland carries into every game against Baltimore. Every matchup is more than just football. It's about pride, memory, and a city that refuses to forget what was taken from them. And now, as Baltimore celebrates the 30th anniversary of that very move, it feels like rubbing salt in a wound that's still fresh for a lot of people. For Cleveland fans, this upcoming game isn't just a date on the schedule, it's personal. It's a chance to finally hit back. Fast forward to 2025, and here we are 30 years after the Browns were uprooted, watching Baltimore throw a massive party to celebrate its franchise history. On the surface, it sounds harmless enough, an organization celebrating 3 decades of existence. But the timing, the opponent, that's what's got Cleveland seeing red. Baltimore could have chosen any number of opponents for this anniversary celebration. The NFL schedule is flexible enough that this matchup didn't have to fall against the Browns. Yet here we are, Cleveland in town, the Ravens honoring their move, and banners flying that essentially say, "Thanks for the memories, Cleveland." Whether intentional or not, it feels like a direct shot. The Ravens organization insists it's just business as usual, just another milestone for the team and its fans. Team executives say they're simply honoring the city of Baltimore, the players who built the franchise, and the fans who have been there since day one. And yes, for Baltimore fans, it's a day of pride, a celebration of everything they gained after years of football drought. But for Cleveland fans, that pride reads like arrogance. It feels like Baltimore is celebrating their pain. You can hear the frustration in Cleveland sports radio this week. Callers are furious. One fan compared it to throwing a birthday party for the guy who stole your car and then parking it in front of your house. Another said this was the most disrespectful thing the NFL has ever allowed to happen. Even Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski reportedly wasn't thrilled. Publicly, he's keeping it calm, telling reporters the focus is on football, but people close to the team say this has become bulletin board material. The Browns locker room knows what this game means. This isn't just about X's and O's. This is about making sure Baltimore doesn't get to laugh in their faces. And then there's Sashi Brown, the Ravens president, who used to work for Cleveland's front office. If anyone understood what this anniversary might mean to the city of Cleveland, it's him. And yet, there was no effort to change the timing or tone of the celebration. Some say that proves this was no accident, that Baltimore knew exactly what they were doing and wanted to get under Cleveland's skin. Which brings us to the real question. Is this smart strategy or blatant disrespect? On one hand, it's an incredible motivator for Baltimore's fan base, a way to unify the city and remind them of their identity. On the other hand, it risks waking a sleeping giant. When you poke Cleveland, you poke an entire fan base that's been waiting 30 years for revenge. And now, they finally have a quarterback who just might be able to deliver it. While Baltimore is busy celebrating its history, Cleveland has quietly been cultivating its future, and that future comes in the form of Shedeur Sanders. The rookie quarterback has been making waves from day one, and if you've been paying attention, you know this isn't just hype. Sanders is a polished, confident, and fearless player who thrives under pressure, the kind of talent that legends are made of. Shedeur's journey isn't a typical one. Coming out of Jackson State, an HBCU that hasn't historically produced a flood of NFL talent, he had to prove doubters wrong at every turn. Scouts questioned whether he could handle the speed, the complexity, and the scrutiny of the NFL. But Sanders comes from a family built on excellence. With Deion Sanders as a father, championship DNA runs in his veins. That pedigree shows in every throw, every read, every decision on the field. Reports from practice this offseason have been glowing. One highlight that has everyone talking is his connection with wide receiver Gage Larvadain. In one session, Sanders delivered a perfectly placed pass, precise, on target, and in rhythm that had teammates and coaches buzzing. This wasn't luck. This was preparation, timing, and instinct converging. Every time Sanders steps onto the field, he's building his legacy quietly, while the spotlight is elsewhere. What makes Sanders special isn't just his arm or mechanics, it's his poise under pressure. From his college days through the NFL draft process, he's been tested mentally, socially, and emotionally, and he's risen every time. Now, with Cleveland looking to reclaim pride against Baltimore, Sanders is entering a pressure cooker scenario few rookies face. He's stepping into a spotlight charged with decades of history, fan emotion, and media hype, and yet he's calm, collected, and focused. There's also the narrative of continuity and support around him. Former teammates, like LeJohnny Wester, are now lining up in key positions, reinforcing the sense that Sanders isn't just a one-man show. He's part of a system being built for success. The chemistry is evident, and the preparation meticulous. While the Ravens are celebrating the past, Cleveland is quietly perfecting the future, and Sanders is at the center of it all. Fans and analysts alike are starting to notice. The buzz around Sanders isn't just about raw talent, it's about opportunity meeting readiness. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. A young quarterback with a chip on his shoulder, taking the field against a team whose very existence symbolizes decades of pain for his city. Sanders isn't just playing a game, he's writing a story, and every throw, every play, every drive is a chapter in Cleveland's attempt to reclaim pride and assert that the past doesn't define the future. This is the moment every young player dreams of, an arena where history, emotion, and skill collide. And Shedeur Sanders is ready. While Baltimore basks in nostalgia, Cleveland's rookie quarterback is preparing to make a statement, one perfect throw at a time. This isn't just a football game. Not really. When Cleveland and Baltimore meet, it's a collision of eras, a clash between history and destiny. On one side, you have the Ravens, celebrating 30 years of success built on the relocation of a beloved franchise. On the other side, you have Cleveland, a city still smarting from a wound that was opened in 1995, and now armed with a young quarterback determined to carve out a new legacy. The tension isn't subtle. Baltimore's banners, their anniversary fireworks, and their nostalgic videos all scream triumph. It's a statement. We took your team and we turned it into champions. But for Cleveland, it's a provocation. It's history rubbing shoulders with the present, daring the city to respond. Every fan, every journalist, every former player in Cleveland knows the stakes. This isn't about a win-loss record anymore. It's about pride, respect, and writing a counter-narrative. And that counter-narrative is Shedeur Sanders. He's more than a rookie quarterback. He's Cleveland's symbol of resilience and hope. Every snap he takes is a message. The past may have been stolen, but the future is being built here and now. Sanders doesn't just carry a football. He carries the weight of a city, the expectations of a fan base, and the collective memory of 30 years of disappointment and longing. His presence on the field is the embodiment of Cleveland's comeback story. Baltimore understands this too. Behind the celebrations and smiling faces, there's an awareness that the Browns are young, hungry, and motivated. The Ravens might have 30 years of trophies and a Hall of Fame narrative to flaunt, but they don't have the raw, untested fire of a rookie quarterback with nothing to lose. That's the beauty of this matchup. Experience versus potential, history versus ambition, pride versus hunger. The narrative tension reaches beyond the players. Every fan in the stands feels it. Cleveland supporters, scarred but passionate, are ready to erupt at the first sign of Sanders connecting a perfect pass or making a clutch play. Baltimore fans, proud and defensive, will cheer every milestone that validates their franchise. It's a powder keg of emotion where every cheer, every groan, every touchdown is amplified by decades of unresolved drama. And yet, this tension isn't destructive, it's transformative. It turns a regular Sunday game into theater, a test of character for both teams. Baltimore's past is undeniable, but Sanders' rise ensures that the present cannot be ignored. Each play becomes a metaphor for reclaiming what was lost, rewriting narratives, and proving that history doesn't dictate the future. For Cleveland, it's a chance to assert identity, to remind the NFL that pain can be transformed into power, and to show that a young quarterback with championship DNA is ready to answer the call. In the middle of this storm stands Shedeur Sanders, calm yet charged, ready to turn history's shadow into a spotlight for Cleveland's future. And if he succeeds, The past will meet the present in a way that no anniversary celebration could ever anticipate. When the Ravens decided to celebrate their 30th anniversary against the Browns, they didn't just schedule a football game, they lit a fuse. The emotions surrounding this matchup go far beyond X's and O's. They are rooted in decades of heartbreak, pride, and unresolved rivalry. Every fan, every journalist, every social media post becomes part of a larger narrative, a game where psychological warfare plays as large a role as the players on the field. Cleveland fans have been vocal. For them, this celebration isn't a neutral acknowledgement of history, it's a direct provocation. Radio shows are filled with callers who describe the event as the most disrespectful thing the NFL has allowed, and an intentional knife in the heart of Cleveland. Some fans invoke vivid analogies, saying it's like someone throwing a party for the person who stole your car and parking it right in front of your house. Every post, every chant, every rallying cry is designed to send a clear message. Cleveland has not forgotten. But it's not just the fans fueling the fire. The Browns' locker room is acutely aware of what's at stake. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has been calm in public, emphasizing preparation and execution, but sources close to the team say the celebration has become a central motivator. Players know this isn't just a game, it's an opportunity to prove something on a personal and citywide level. For a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, that pressure could have been overwhelming, but it is. He thrives in high-stakes environments, and the added intensity only sharpens his focus. Baltimore, meanwhile, has its own psychological strategy. Their celebration is part pride, part dominance. By highlighting 3 decades of success, Super Bowl titles, and Hall of Fame contributions, the Ravens are asserting superiority, an intentional or unintentional challenge to Cleveland's identity. They know the Browns will enter hostile territory, energized by historical grievance, and perhaps they hope that this emotional weight will cause Cleveland to make mistakes under pressure. This back and forth of mind games makes the matchup more than athletic. It's a chess match with a living audience. Fans feed off emotion, coaches manipulate it, and players channel it into performance. Bulletin board material becomes literal here. Cleveland has been handed an undeniable psychological edge if they choose to embrace it. Every fan in the dog pound, every alumnus recalling the heartbreak of 1995, every rookie quarterback stepping onto the field feels the electric tension. And in the middle of this storm is Sanders, the ultimate focus of the psychological battlefield. While both cities navigate anger, pride, and anticipation, he is quietly preparing. He doesn't allow external drama to dictate his performance. He uses it as fuel. The more Baltimore flaunts its past, the sharper Sanders becomes. The more Cleveland fans seethe, the more purpose he gains. This is psychological warfare in its purest form, emotion transformed into execution. By the time the first snap is taken, every eye in the stadium, every fan watching at home, will be feeling the weight of decades. A tension so thick it could be sliced with a knife. And at the center of it all is a young quarterback ready to turn that tension into triumph. When Sunday arrives, this isn't just another date on the NFL calendar. This is a game loaded with layers of meaning, where every play carries consequences far beyond the scoreboard. For the Cleveland Browns, it's about more than a win. It's about pride, respect, and reclaiming a narrative that's been out of their control for 3 decades. Every fan, every former player, every city resident remembers 1995. The relocation of the Browns wasn't just a franchise move. It was a cultural earthquake, leaving a scar that has yet to fully heal. And now, they have a chance to send a message. At the center of Cleveland's stakes is Shedeur Sanders. He isn't just playing for his team, he's playing for a city, a fan base, and a family legacy. Sanders has the chance to prove that he belongs on this stage, that the pressure of history doesn't intimidate him, and that his championship DNA is more than inherited, it's lived and earned. Every completion, every scramble, every precision throw is a statement that Cleveland's future doesn't bow to the past. For Baltimore, the stakes are different but no less intense. They want to maintain the aura of dominance they've cultivated over 30 years. Their anniversary celebration is more than nostalgia. It's an assertion of identity, a claim that their success, built on decades of excellence, is something to be admired and feared. A loss to Cleveland in this moment would feel like a crack in that legacy. It would turn celebration into humiliation, a cautionary tale about underestimating the next generation. Beyond the team pride and legacy, there's the emotional battlefield. Cleveland fans aren't just hopping for a victory, they want revenge. They want to see Baltimore humbled on a field where decades of bitterness converge. Social media, radio shows, and fan forums are buzzing with predictions, strategies, and taunts. Every chant in the dog pound will carry historical weight, amplifying the pressure on both sides. The game also matters for the players' personal narratives. A standout performance from Sanders could instantly elevate his status, positioning him as a leader capable of thriving under pressure, while giving Cleveland the momentum it desperately seeks. For Baltimore veterans, it's about proving that their franchise's success isn't just historical luck, it's sustained excellence. Every play is a chance to validate 30 years of triumph or expose vulnerabilities in front of the entire league. Finally, there's the symbolic victory. Cleveland doesn't need a blowout to win on Sunday. Every hard hit, every flawless drive, every defensive stop is a statement that the past doesn't own them. Baltimore doesn't just want to win. They want to control the narrative, to reinforce their identity and celebrate history. This makes the stakes not just a question of wins and losses, but who writes the story in the clash of past and future. This isn't just football. It's history in motion, pride in action, and legacy under scrutiny. When Sanders steps onto that field, the world will be watching, not just for touchdowns, but for the triumph of preparation, talent, and will over history and expectation. When a game carries as much history, emotion, and drama as Cleveland versus Baltimore, predictions aren't just about stats and matchups. They're about psychology, momentum, and the intangible energy that only high-stakes rivalry can produce. This Sunday, anything can happen, and every scenario tells a story far bigger than the final score. Scenario 1. Shedeur Sanders dominates. The first possibility, and one that has Cleveland fans salivating, is a performance for the ages by their rookie quarterback. Sanders has shown precision, poise, and an ability to thrive under pressure in practice. Imagine him threading the needle to gauge Larvadain on multiple drives, reading the Baltimore defense like a seasoned veteran, and engineering a game-winning touchdown. In this scenario, Sanders becomes the embodiment of Cleveland's future, calm, confident, and relentless. Baltimore's celebration is overshadowed by the rise of a new star, and Cleveland fans finally feel that emotional vindication they've been waiting for 3 decades. Scenario 2. Baltimore holds strong. The Ravens, of course, are no strangers to big games and hostile environments. A second scenario sees Baltimore leaning on its experience, containing Sanders with a disciplined defense, and controlling the tempo to secure a victory. They celebrate not just their 30-year legacy, but also their ability to withstand the emotional weight Cleveland brings. In this case, Baltimore reinforces the narrative that history and preparation still matter, but Cleveland still leaves the game with pride intact, knowing their young quarterback gained invaluable experience. Scenario 3. The unexpected chaos. There's always room for unpredictability in games charged with history and emotion. Turnovers, penalties, and split-second mistakes could tilt momentum back and forth. In this scenario, the game becomes a wild spectacle, a roller coaster where fans are on edge until the final whistle. Sanders could make a jaw-dropping play, only to be countered by a Baltimore veteran touchdown, creating a story where the crowd's emotional stakes drive every decision. This is the scenario where legends are born, where a rookie quarterback shows heart, resilience, and flashes of brilliance, even if the scoreboard is messy. Scenario 4. Emotional statements over outcomes. Sometimes, the most important victories aren't about points, but statements. Even if Cleveland loses by a narrow margin, a strong showing by Sanders, clutch throws, leadership under pressure, and moments of brilliance can send a powerful message. Baltimore may win the game, but Cleveland claims the narrative. The city has pride, Sanders has potential, and the next chapter is just beginning. History may celebrate the past, but Cleveland proves that the future is ready. Every scenario carries stakes for both teams. For Cleveland, it's pride, revenge, and future momentum. For Baltimore, it's legacy, dominance, and affirmation of 30 years of success. And for Sanders, it's the ultimate test. Can a rookie quarterback seize the spotlight in the midst of emotional chaos, proving that talent, preparation, and poise outweigh even the weight of history? This game is more than a matchup. It's a story of past versus future, of respect versus rivalry, and of a young quarterback ready to make his mark in the middle of a storm built over 30 years. As the final whistle blows, one thing becomes clear. This game isn't just about a score or a stat sheet. It's about legacy, identity, and the collision of history with the promise of the future. For Cleveland, 30 years of heartbreak and resentment against Baltimore have shaped every fan, every commentator, and now, every player stepping onto that field. The city doesn't just want to win, it wants recognition, validation, and the reminder that the past may have been stolen, but the future is still theirs to claim. At the center of that future is Shedeur Sanders. From practice highlights to his performance under the lights, Sanders embodies what Cleveland hopes for: talent, poise, and the ability to rise when the stakes are highest. He doesn't just play the game, he writes a story with every throw, every read, and every decision. The Browns' rookie quarterback is a reminder that history doesn't dictate outcomes. No matter how loud the celebration, no matter how grand the anniversary, the next chapter is being written on the field, in real time, by those who are willing to seize it. Baltimore may have 30 years of trophies, records, and accolades, but the beauty of football and sports in general is that every day is a new opportunity. A single game, a single drive, or a single throw can redefine narratives. That's the irony of the Ravens' anniversary celebration. While they intended to showcase their dominance and success, they inadvertently set the stage for Cleveland's resurgence. History may provide context, but it cannot guarantee the future. And in this case, the spotlight shines brightly on a young quarterback ready to prove exactly that. For the fans, the emotional payoff is profound. Clevelanders can relive the old pain, channel it into energy, and witness a symbolic reclaiming of pride. Baltimore fans experience the tension of defending a celebrated past, seeing how the younger generation is prepared to challenge it. The drama, the passion, and the stakes make this more than a game. It's a narrative that resonates far beyond the stadium. Sports have always been a reflection of life. Rivalries, redemption, and the relentless push to define your own destiny. Looking beyond 30 years, this matchup serves as a reminder for teams, players, and cities alike. Legacy is important, but it's never fixed. While Baltimore honors its history, Cleveland is crafting its future. While some celebrate the past, others are busy building moments that will be remembered for decades to come. And in the middle of it all stands Sanders, a quarterback poised to turn expectation into reality, potential into action, and pressure into performance. As the dust settles and the lights dim, the real takeaway is simple. History matters, but it is never the final word. Cleveland has the chance to reclaim pride, Baltimore has the chance to assert dominance, and fans have the chance to witness the extraordinary unfolding of a new era. Beyond 30 years of pain, celebration, and rivalry, the future is being written today, and Shedeur Sanders is holding the pen.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.